There are so many words used in home management and homemaking that people use interchangeably. Cleaning, organizing, decluttering, straightening up, tidying, and that's just the beginning. And you may be thinking, does it really matter what I call it as long as I get it done? I think it does. The problem is that many of these words don't actually mean the same thing. And if you don't know the difference, it can be hard to figure out what your home actually needs and what you need to do next. So in this video, I'm going to define the most common home management terms, explain the different words you'll hear people use for the same thing, and clear up the terms that are most often confused. Hi, I'm Wendy. Welcome to my Life Jam, where I help working moms simplify home management while building a God-centered life, even with limited time. And this is a subject I know pretty well because I've owned a professional cleaning and organizing business for 20 years. I've had people call me and say that they need a deep cleaning when what they're really describing is a standard cleaning. You've probably heard people say, I need to clean before the cleaner comes, but most of the time they don't mean clean. They mean they need to tidy up and put things away so the cleaner can actually clean. I've also had people tell me that after talking to me, they realized that they had been spending their time organizing and decluttering when what they really wanted to do was clean their home. And that's the problem with using all of these words interchangeably. If you don't clearly understand what you're trying to accomplish, you may keep doing the wrong thing but wondering why you're not getting the result you want. Instead of looking at your home and thinking, I need to clean this mess, I want you to start learning to identify what the problem actually is. Once you can name the problem, it's much easier to know what to do about it. So let's start with the term that's right in the title of this video, home management. The best way I've found to define home management is this. Home management is the intentional way you run your home day to day using simple systems and routines to care for your space and the things in it, support the people who live there, and keep everything running smoothly. You may also hear the word homemaking used in a very similar way. Home management and homemaking are closely related terms, and you'll often hear people use them interchangeably, but I think there's a slight difference in emphasis. Home management tends to focus more on the intentional, structured way you run your home. Homemaking has a warmer feel to it. It tends to focus more on caring for your home, creating a positive environment for your family, and making your home a place where the people who live there can thrive. So there's a lot of overlap. In fact, I think home management is a big part of homemaking. Now I want to talk about 4 terms that I think get confused more than any other home management terms. They are cleaning, organizing, tidying, and decluttering. Cleaning is the process of removing dirt, dust, debris, stains, germs, and other unwanted substances from surfaces, objects, or areas of your home. When you vacuum your carpet, scrub your shower, wipe down your kitchen counters, or dust your furniture, you're cleaning. Organizing is the process of intentionally creating order among your belongings by grouping and categorizing them and assigning them designated places so they're easier to find, use, and put away. When you're organizing, you're deciding where things belong and how they should be stored. Tidying is the process of restoring order to a space by returning items to their designated places, putting away things that have been left out, and arranging the space so it looks neat and orderly. You may also hear this called tidying up or straightening up. You're putting the shoes away, folding the blanket on the couch, taking the coffee cup back to the kitchen, and putting the toys back where they belong. Decluttering is a little tricky because this word is used in a couple of different ways. The literal definition of declutter is to remove clutter, and clutter is a crowded or disorderly collection of things. So if you're going through a pile of things that has accumulated over time and deciding what stays and what goes, you're decluttering. But today, The word decluttering is also used more broadly to mean going through your belongings and removing things you no longer need or use. So you might declutter a bookshelf or a closet that doesn't look cluttered at all. In practical terms, when you're decluttering, you're intentionally going through accumulated items or a category of belongings and deciding what to keep and what to remove. Cleaning, organizing, tidying, and decluttering are four different processes with four different purposes. And this is why I think it's so important to know the difference. If you look at a room and simply say, I need to clean this mess, you may not be identifying what the room actually needs. The room may be dirty and need to be cleaned. It may have things out of place and need to be tidied. It may have belongings that need to be sorted through and decluttered. Or your belongings may not have functional places where they belong and the room needs to be organized. Once you identify the problem, you can focus on the process that will actually give you the result you want. Now that we've cleared up those four terms, let's talk about a couple of cleaning terms you'll hear often. The first one is standard cleaning. Standard cleaning is the routine cleaning performed on a regular or recurring basis to remove ordinary dirt, dust, debris, and grime and maintain the general cleanliness of your home. This is also called maintenance cleaning, basic cleaning, or regular cleaning. This is basically the type of cleaning a professional house cleaner does when you hire them to clean your home on a regular basis. It's your normal recurring cleaning, the vacuuming, mopping, dusting, cleaning bathrooms, and cleaning kitchen surfaces that you do regularly to keep your home clean. This type of cleaning is usually done weekly, every 2 weeks, or monthly. The next one is deep cleaning. Deep cleaning is a more thorough and detailed type of cleaning than standard cleaning. It addresses accumulated dirt, dust, grease, grime, and buildup, as well as areas and surfaces that are not typically included in a standard cleaning. This may include cleaning baseboards, washing walls, cleaning behind or underneath appliances, or thoroughly cleaning areas that haven't been cleaned in a long time. Spring cleaning is a type of deep cleaning. It refers to thoroughly cleaning your home during the spring season. Deep cleaning goes beyond your regular standard cleaning to address buildup in areas that aren't cleaned as often. Next, I want to cover four common organizing terms. If you watch professional organizers or read organizing books, you're probably going to hear some version of these phrases. Like with like is an organizing principle in which similar or related items are grouped and stored together based on what they are or how they're used. In simple terms, you put similar things together. Think in categories. You put batteries with your batteries, office supplies with your office supplies, and baking supplies with your baking supplies. Grouping like items together makes it easier to see what you have, find what you need, and put things away. A home for everything is an organizing principle that means every item or category of items should have a designated place where it's stored when it's not being used. You've probably heard the phrase, a place for everything and everything in its place. That's the basic idea. In organizing, you'll often hear people simply refer to an item's home or talk about finding homes for your belongings. Every belonging should have an intentional and consistent place where it belongs, so you know where to find it when you're looking for it and where to put it away when you're done using it. When something doesn't have a home, it often gets left sitting out or moved from place to place because there isn't a designated place to put it away. Prime real estate is an organizing term used to describe the most accessible, convenient, and easy to reach storage areas in a space. These areas should generally be reserved for the things you use most often. For example, the cabinet that's right at eye level in your kitchen is prime real estate. A high shelf that requires a stepladder to reach is not. The more often you use something, the more convenient its home should be. A zone is a designated area within a room or space that is organized around a specific activity, purpose, function, or category of items. For example, you might have a coffee zone in your kitchen where you keep your coffee maker, coffee, mugs, and other supplies you use to make coffee. Or you might have a homework zone where your children keep the supplies they need to do their homework. The idea is to keep the things you need for a particular activity together and close to where you actually use them. Finally, I want to talk about 3 terms that I think of primarily as productivity terms, but they're used often when we're talking about managing a home. They are systems, routines, and habits. A system is a repeatable process used to manage something and help it run more smoothly. It may involve a series of steps that are followed consistently. We often create a system when something isn't working well or feels difficult to manage. For example, if laundry is constantly piling up, you might create a laundry system, a repeatable process for sorting, washing, drying, folding, and putting clothes away. A system eliminates decision fatigue by giving you a consistent way to manage something instead of figuring out what to do every time. A routine is a regular and repeated sequence of actions or activities that you perform at a particular time, in a particular order, or in response to a recurring part of your life. You may also hear homemakers use the word rhythm. A rhythm is a recurring pattern or flow of activities that provides structure to your daily, weekly, or seasonal life. These words are often used in very similar ways. Generally, the word routine can imply a little more structure, while rhythm is often used to describe a more flexible, natural flow. You might have a morning cleaning routine or a weekly laundry rhythm. The exact word you use isn't as important as understanding the concept. These are the things you do repeatedly as part of the regular flow of managing your home. A habit is something you do regularly that over time becomes almost automatic. Putting your keys in the same place every time you walk through the door can become a habit. Wiping down the kitchen counters after dinner can become a habit. Putting something away when you're finished using it can become a habit. Good home management habits make it easier to stay on top of your home because the things you need to do become a natural part of your everyday life. Which of these terms have you been confusing, or which one was totally new to you? Drop it down in the comments below. I'd love to know. It doesn't matter whether you're organizing, deep cleaning, or setting up a new routine. These terms aren't just vocabulary words. They're the building blocks of a home management system. Understanding these concepts can save you time, reduce frustration, and help you feel less overwhelmed as you manage your home. When you can clearly name what your home needs, you can start doing the work that actually makes a difference. Thanks so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.